Uh-oh. It is time for video game flash fiction. That is right. And the uh-oh is I don't have my dice to roll because I got to randomly select one of these games. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab 2 dice. I have a 6-sided dice right here for these columns 1 through 6. It is a 1. So we'll go over there, column 1. I got a 10-sided dice from number 1 to 10 to top. Roll that dice. Oh, I got number 8 is Backgammon. Whoa. Let's start the timer. All right, I'm going to give myself 1 hour and a half to create a video game flash fiction story based upon the sights and sounds of Backgammon. And the name as well. Oh, fudge. Yeah. My time limit is going to be a little bit 8 by installing the paddle handles. I don't have them in by default. Since the majority of games actually take the joystick. Shit. I really don't feel like making a meta story about how annoying it can be to install the paddles. But I guess this is a unique experience for some. For me, it's called playing the Atari. They use for Pong. What's interesting is you can actually plug it into one slot and you actually get 2 of the paddles. They do have the singular paddle. I think I might have one of those someplace. I think they came with the racing games where you needed paddles. Some games need this pad. Some games need the pad and the joystick. All right, well, I have an hour and 28 minutes to write some story about the story of Backgammon. Here's the fun cartridge. Well, it's like what, hair from the 70s. Uh-oh, did I mess production up? Maybe I did. I'm going to have to check the television here. Make sure the video camera on it is still relatively centered. It is. I think I have the paddle in right now. It's a thought. I really don't know. It's slotted into something and it has to be the paddle. Let's just look at it even more awkward. That's what happens when you randomly select a game and you have to use a different type of controller. So this is Backgammon. We're at 1 hour and 27 minutes in. Well, the game works, and that's certainly Backgammon. All right, I'm assuming the paddle. Oh, it's got some fun, funky sounds there. Let's listen to that. Let's turn it up just a little bit. I'm gonna hit reset again. Oh, that wasn't too... I don't know how to play Backgammon, I'll be honest with you. I used to. I could probably try to remember. I got to play the game. It's supposed to make the story. What did it just say? I don't even what. I don't see those words. Let me get a bigger vision of this television. Let me try to play this game of Backgammon. I feel like I'm going to get paddled already. Ha ha. There we go. Yes, double. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. Oh, then I move my paddle along. And I have no idea how to play Backgammon. I know you move the pieces along in pairs, and then you fill up slots. And you could block. And you had to go up, then down. So it's at least guiding me the way I need to go. And so I'm assuming I'm red. And it's like you roll the dice and I can maybe select one of these. Do I select? I hit? What does that mean? What am I doing? I just mess things up. click the button, it pushes it to the top of the triangle. This I guess horizontal Empire State Building looking thing. Supposed to be an arrow. I know what it's supposed to represent, but anyway, press the button, pushes the piece to the edge, and that gives then the paddle control to move it up and down. So if this is, man, I'm sorry, if this is not backgammon, I'm going to learn real quick. So I'm assuming I can move. Okay, now do I get more? Because I went 3 and I can go 4. Let's there. I don't know how to play this game. I'm just gonna click buttons. Just make me the winner. What if I go right? Oh, that's weird. It's like if it. I feel like I'm moving a lot of things. Can I move them all 7? Like, I don't know. I really have no. I'm bored. Backgammon, boy, yeah. Give me a second here. It's been 7 minutes in. It was a experience just getting the game to work because of paddles, technology. Yeah, well, you play with what you got, and we have a video game called Backgammon, and there needs to be a video game flash fiction that's going to inspire worlds to play backgammon again. And I don't know why I said worlds, given that, well, we only have exposure to one that we have common trust exists. Backgammon. Is that how you spell backgammon? I honestly, I just looked at the cartridge. Let's go for the search and return engine. Where are you at? How do you even play? Do I care? Do I even want to find out? Not really. Backgammon. I don't know why I want to put a D on the end of that. Gammon. O-N. I don't know. It's just the way I enunciate, pronounce, speak. Born and raised in my American English. Backgammon. Okay. Now I have to write a flash fiction story about backgammon. The Atari version too. I don't even know what I'm doing. Maybe that's why I should learn the rules, because then I can take what I was doing in the game and make it part of the player being an idiot, not knowing. I can hyper-contextualize myself into this story of backgammon. That sounds boring. I could do some meta thing about a kid that learns to love backgammon on the Atari, but I feel like I've written that type of story before. Winning the game, I suppose, would be the resolution. The conflict is playing the game to win. That's an obvious conflict. That's with every game. Welcome, genius. I wish there was something shooting. It at least allows the imagination to know what is being the projectile, possibly making it not so dystopian. But I'm now thinking back to like things I've wrote, and so I don't follow the same pattern. Video pinball, video poker. I can't remember the video poker one, fortunately. Or unfortunately. Let's write this out. Okay. Let's go with how I don't know what I'm doing. Let's go with the experience of playing backgammon on the Atari 2600. And then apply that to backgammon. So I don't even need to read the rules yet. I remind myself. I used to know. At least I used to think I used to know. But who knows? I was young and stupid. Excuse me, naive. And that's to me the frustrating part. So, because that's the most fundamental part about a game is the rules. And trying to explain the rules to somebody. That's a fun story. That might be it. Because it'd be my experience with playing the game right now. But fictionalized. Just lie real well. Okay. There might be a lot of dialogue. And that's just it. Maybe that's fine. It's been a bit until I've splurged on dialogue. I was thinking like just a narrative, but I want to have two people talking and that being the conflict. One older, one younger. Doesn't necessarily have to be specific to gender, so I'm going to try to keep that at least as neutral as possible. It's just not part of the story. It doesn't need to be. And I don't have that many words for flash fiction. And start the conflict with telling someone they can't do something. Or it's actually I like that even better. That's it. That's the process right there, is that it's two people who don't know how to play backgammon trying to convince the other that they do, that that's the game, and they don't know the rules. Because there were a lot of times, I remember, when you would find a board game in the attic and it had no instructions. So you kind of have to just think you knew how you played it. And that's what that's the story. Let's fictionalize off even more nonfiction reality. Well, it's fiction to me because I've told the story in my own mind so many times that experience of having a attic full of boxed games with no instructions. But let's use it here. Names. Dylan Keller. Hell yeah. We'll have it be Dill's house. That's even better. That's more fun. I need more fun in my life, especially when I write words. Too much dystopia makes life boring. Dill. Cardboard. Box labeled with the sun bleached. Gammon with an N. There we go. Dill blows dust from the water warped cardboard box labeled with the sun bleached letters. The sun bleached pink letters. They were red. Okay, so there's going to be no rules in this box, and I'm going to try to actually think they know how to play the game. And I guess what's to stop? What's like, I guess the agreement to actually play it, maybe. And I guess that's what I got to ask right here. Should we play this game? The story asks at the end, do you want to play? Keller's going to say yes. So let's write the end right now. At least I can write to something. And that will at least set up a conflict. The conflict is the question. Let's resolve that. We resolve it by them playing the game. We're done. So Dill says, so you want to play? Play with those rules? Yeah, I like that. That's fun. All right, some sort of slang. I don't want yes. I want yup. Yep. It is a American English slang for yes. Yup. Boom. Okay. So I have the setup, and then Dale's going to say, you want to play? Keller sneezes. As Dale says, you want to play? And I'm going to just say it's the attic. I mean, thinking of the places that people I knew put board games, and you put some in the attic if they're taking up space below and you didn't play them that often. Or you put them in a crawl space because you had so many, and you had other things stored in that crawl space. Or you put them in your storage space where you're storing food, the dry preserves. I think this is going to be in the attic. It's more visual. Then going from dry preserve, or I guess the crawl space, but then crawl space itself would be the story. Like, you don't mess around. And the crawl space was actually, I remember one had a crawl space with board games, and like just kind of crawling under there and getting out the board game in itself was fun as hell. Anyway, memories. Let's not go there too far because we're getting into addict here. We have Keller sneezes. Dill says, "You want to play it?" Keller grabs the box, and I can have the motion of them grabbing the box and opening the box up, and then or setting the box down and saying, "Do you want to play?" They set it at the table. So at the very end, it says, "Okay." Dill puts puts the backgammon box, there we go, on the table. So you want to play with those rules. Okay, so we're going to make up rules as we're walking from the attic into the kitchen, and then putting this on the kitchen table, because that's the biggest table in any mid-80s house I was in. 90%. There were the ritzy family that actually had a proper front living room and had a greeting room with a table in it, and that was pretty sizable at times. But even their dining room table was bigger than that table, so just most people used it as an all-purpose table of putting stuff on, greeting people, eating off of. Anyway, I'm trying to frame this. I think I got to have a screen door. There's definitely a screen door at this house. There's definitely some linoleum, I think. I'm going to just try to get out at least, because I got an hour and 10 minutes left. I think this is the story. It is the story. I'm not starting over. And this is not total trash. I feel, at least right now. My opinion may change of it. So Keller sneezes a deal. You want to play. Keller grabs the box. So they're getting down from the attic. So Keller grabs the box and steps from the ladder, walking out the garage door. Dill climbs down and claps hand. I might have to go to the 1200 limit. It's been a bit. Usually I've been around 600 words to 800, but I'm feeling as if we'll see where the dialogue goes. I gotta make a game up, and this can be a simple game. It'll be the simple game that I've sort of felt existed in my mind when I was trying to play it on the Atari 2600. Okay. I do need to take a quick image and take a look at this video game again. I can't forget the inspiration. And maybe we'll play it out. I think maybe that's what I want to do. Like, let me get this image real quick. Okay, let's open up, for me at least. I gotta see this Atari game better, and then I'm gonna sort of kind of try to make the game up as I play it. I think that's gonna help me, but I need to see the visual just a little bit better. There we go. And let's play this game one more time. And let's get the sights and sounds up just a little bit. And now I gotta create this. I gotta frame in, I gotta make up the game rules. Like, because you're given 2 dice. I'm seeing the patterns now, so I'm gonna look at the pieces here. They don't know this. Like, they're totally ignorant of it. They have no game rules, so their concept of how to move this stuff is gonna be made up as I try to understand the game myself. You can only write what you know, and then learn to lie real well, so you could know a lot of things and pretend you know a lot of things. So Dill climbs up from the attic. Attic. I don't need the extra K. Attic and claps hands. Instructions. Their instructions. And I'm also not going to have like complete their instructions, question mark. Huh. Joe climbs down from the attic and claps hands. Their instructions, yeah, I gotta get this right. Their instructions. I believe that would be the proper way to ask that question without being clear, but knowing the person is very clear. Because they speak the same sort of manner as, anyway. So Dill's response, and I'll count the pieces. I got the dice. I got time. So the cardboard box smacks. I'm going to get some detail of like a summertime thing. Smacks dusty. Cement. They don't power wash it. It's not that dirty, but it's definitely dusty, warm cement. Summer hot cement. Or it'd be concrete, right? What would I say? What would I say back in the day? If I would probably say cement driveway, not a concrete driveway. I'd say cement driveway. So I'm gonna keep it the summer hot cement driveway. So that's the speech pattern of at least the main narrator. We'll keep going with it. And then we have Keller is going to come back. So Keller's got the box. Keller crouches. Lifts game box. Keller crouches, lifts game box lid, and wedges a folded rectangle board from the box. And I gotta talk about the checker pieces, because that's how I'm going to reference them. That's what they're going to call them. But I'll call them quarter size plastic pieces. Okay. And go to something that's not related to a different game, and then have them be called checker pieces by the kids, because they are way more familiar with checkers than they are with backgammon. And I got an hour and 2 minutes to make this a decent story, and I got the damn rules already, but I think that'll just be real quick. I think they can at least make up something quickly. Kids are good at that. I've been around them, having been one, but also I listen to them all the time, and they're able to actually conceive of games pretty quickly and resolve conflicts if you just let them learn how to do it. And so I'm going to take that, and I was a kid, we do this all the time. Yeah. Not all the time, but more frequent than anyone does it now. Keller, including myself. Keller crouches, lifts game box lid, and wedges a folded rectangle board from box. And quarter sized plastic chips slide over 2 6-sided dice. Oh, there's the screensaver. There we go. Jill grabs quarter-sized, I'm not getting words this more, quarter hyphen-sized plastic chip. I'll just say plastic chip. Grabs a plastic chip from box. Checker piece. A checker. Not a checkerboard. Keller unfolds. There we go. This is actually kind of fun. I don't hate this. Not that I won't during the future, but at this particular point during time, I feel no hate toward these words I write. It's not an everyday thing. Keller unfolds the cardboard box. The cardboard, the rectangle, unfolds the rectangle board, revealing Hour left. Oh, jeez, man. How am I going to describe this? Let me look at this picture. I got to scratch my nose. What does that even look like? What is that picture? Let me reset it so it at least gets it as screensaver mode. All right, so that's how do I even, what's a good descriptor? I just need the one descriptor for the board, and then let's get the pieces. I'm going to assume I can just half them. So I'll count one side because they look equal. Okay, and then I'll just double them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 30. Dill counts odd number. Dill mumbles while counting. 1, 2, 10. 21, 30. Okay. There's the process. And 2 dice. And I'm trying to think, so like black and white was, I'm thinking of colors as far as checkers. As far as the board, I'm like, nah. Let's go black and white checkers. 15. And then just be mumbled here. Dill scoops the dice and says, instead of mumbles, and 2 dice. And he's going to say this aloud, so it'll be like 15, right? 15 white checker pieces. And 15, I should count again. I will count again. I'm not even going, 15 black checker pieces. And 2 dice. Will this be flash fiction? Who knows? It'll be a, doesn't matter. I'll go the 1,200 word limit. I got 56 minutes left. Let's get this more. So Dill grabs a plastic chip from box checker piece. Dill mumbles while counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to have what Keller is doing at this time right here. As Keller looks at the box, looks at the... All right, so this is going to be simultaneous. So I want to be able to do this like the as or while. It's with time. Let's do while. So I can have some sort of both subjects doing 2 things at once in this sentence. While Keller unfolds the rectangle board. And just have it, the action, the board opens. The open card board rectangle. The unfolded cardboard square. Let's do that. Let's keep with the same verb that I'm using throughout all the other sentences, so it doesn't seem confusing and like I'm almost switching action. I think I used unfolded beforehand. If not, through edit. Let's get that right now. Unfolds. Keller unfolds. Okay, the unfolded. Now it's the unfolded square, cardboard square. and it reveals. So it's going to be what does it reveal? My inability. Oh boy. How to describe this? Let's make sure it's the right number. Pieces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so I've counted, and that's at least 4. I can see on this board in the 2 dice. How would I describe those things there? Like lances. Short swords. I'm just thinking shape-wise, and what a kid would know. I'm dating this, but I'm hopefully not dating it, meaning if your kid were to read it now, they could relate, because you can find cardboard box games in mini attics throughout the world. So it's still a thing. So, but I want to make it general enough that it fits. Maybe sword. I think sword. Sword blades. Like, let's do that. I like that. And then they can kind of use that as how they actually make the story, how they craft the game. So they're going to be sword tips, like is there a certain type, it's more like a lance, the ends of lances. I mean, it kind of does, at least in my mind right now, and I think that's the way it's going to look here. I'll use the same color. I'll say blue and green. That's right, I should use the colors of the screen. I don't know why I'm even debating that. I feel a bit ashamed, to be honest. That's like a easy out right there. So we got what is it, red and white. It looks pink, but I'm going to go with red because that was also a classic color, especially with checkers. Still is a classic color with checkers, so let's just use what I'm inspired by there. That looks kind of white, so I'm going to call it white. So red checker pieces, white checker pieces. And let's give some description. Quarter size plastic chip slide over the side. A red plastic chip. Plastic, red and white chips. I don't know. That's a lot of words. Let's just describe that chip real quick. Chips slide over slide over 2 6-sided dice. Let's hyphenate. Maybe I just need one big long hyphen, but I want to avoid hyphens for this. I'm not going to use a hyphen. That's not for this narrative. So while Keller unfolds the rectangle board, Dill scoops the dice. Scoops the dice? Scoops the dice? What scoops the dice? I don't even know what that means in real life. It doesn't mean anything. Scoops the dice. And says 15 white checker pieces and 15 red checker pieces and 2 dice. The unfolded call reveals 2 symmetrical, 2 something. Let's see, there's one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. 10 on a side? Okay. I'm having a hard time here. I know they're going to be the lance. 2 sides, like sides with arrows, like ends of a lance pointing at each other. What time is it? I got 49 minutes left. Okay, so on the unfolded cardboard box reveals 2 sides of 10 arrows of 10. Ah, man. Lance. There's like a I gotta use, man, this is a simile, but I need like the initial shape. Triangle. And that would be like what? The acute, I don't even know. I really don't. Let's just say triangle. 2 skinny triangles. We'll say there's 2 sides of 10 skinny triangles pointing at each other. It's like 10 lances charging at each other. Who would say that? That would be a Keller thing. Sifts through. I think the game's going to be really simple. I don't have time to make a complex game, and I don't think they'd want to anyway. The chips. No instructions. I gotta have them walking. Maybe they're just playing on the cement. Maybe they don't need to go inside. I mean, the damn board's coming from the attic anyway. If I was having an accurate description, I'd probably want to keep the game outside. It wouldn't be harmful to keep outside, and it wouldn't ever be the first time someone's played a board game on a cement driveway. It's not too far from fiction and very close to reality. So let's just keep it there. That way I don't have to have this. Like, I'd love to have the screen door, but this is good enough. So they're going to just sit there. That way I don't have to have too many more words. And I can focus now on the dialogue creating the game. So Dill. How are they going to do it? I don't know what they're going to do. Let's think of a game real quick. So they've got 15 pieces each. They got 2 dice, and the dice are going to knock over the pieces somehow. I feel like this is going to be a knockover game, and they're going to use the charging thing as part of the base. So let's think of the game real quick, and then got it. So, okay, Dill puts the backgammon, stacks the chips, stacks. And I want at least 2 exchanges. And I'm going to have it go slow at first. So it'll be transaction, building, very subtly. Because if you watch people create things and you're anywhere observant, like, it usually starts out with like a question or movement forward. But it then eventually, at times, when there's a genesis of people know each other real well, they actually get into some deep dialogue and figure it out pretty quickly. And that's what I want right here. I got 40, 45 more minutes. That's good. That means there's time. I do need more coffee. Okay. Well, stacks. So, I think I have enough inspiration from looking at the video game as it's projected behind me. I'm going to go ahead and close this out and focus on these words right here a little bit more. Let's get this done. It's video game flash fiction, not video game scribbling. Dill shifts through chips. No instruction. No instructs. No instructions, please. It's like 10 lances charging each other, Keller says. I think Keller is going to be the genesis of this. Keller stacks the red chips in one column. Between the pointing lances. I think they're just going to be playing around, and then Dill rolls the dice, and then they'll think of something. Hitting 2 white chips sprawled in the box. Okay. I think this game's going to be real quick. I think I got the genesis for it, at least a natural way to show that they're just sort of sitting there bored. I need a couple more sentences, though. I need the boredom set in just a little bit more. And it's going to be a dice rolling game where they stack the chips up on either side, and it's split between the two, and and they go from opposite sides, so they roll the dice, and they actually have just one dice. And the goal is to knock over the entire tower of the people's chips, and then they'll see if they make up more rules. That's not this story, though. That's just the starting. And where they'll just play and figure it out and actually communicate to complete something. That's fun. Everyone needs a little bit more fun in their life. Keller stacks the red chips in one column between two pointing between the pointing lances. Dill rolls the 2 dice, hitting the white chips sprawled in the box. I think they're going to look at the board just a little bit more. Yeah, Dill rolls the 2 dice, hitting the white chips sprawled in the box. Keller traces. I'm going to have that line in the middle. A line chases the crease and the line in the game board. Separating 2 pairs What's this line down the middle? Dill says, I got this. This actually works out. This is fun. It's like the lanes. Yeah. Oh, yes. It's like the lanes in a oh man, the Lansing Duel. I can't even think of the proper name for that right now. And I play Dungeons and Dragons a lot, and I've really battled and read many battles. Just call it Lansing. A Lansing stage, a Lansing run, a Lansing court. Jousting. Gosh, that's what I'm thinking of. Jousting. Jeez. It's like a jousting. Like a bar that separates the jousters. Killer grabs a dice and rolls it over the board, hitting the stack of red chips. You won the joust, says, oh, I like this. I like this a lot. Do they actually have to start and say they're playing a game? I think it'll end with, do you want to play again? Giving that indication that there's no like said word. They just know. They know it's something fun to do and they can build off of it. And as me as a person, as an adult, I always like to like demarcate some event so I can better time it like this. But when you're a kid, yeah. It'd be, you want to play again. And this would be Keller grabs the red dice, grabs the red chips, stacks the red chips, so we can just automatically, so stacks. Let's get to the verb and the action that we need it to complete. We got 35 minutes left, at least to try to process something, because it is just a process, even if it's an emotional one. Here, Keller stacks the red chips. And slides them on one half in one of the Lansing lanes. On one of the Lansing lanes between the pointed, oh, I love that. The pointed. Come on. Can I spell pointed lances? The pointing lances. Dill stacks. The white chips on the other side. And maybe he's gonna add a rule. They're gonna sort of at least add something. Like they're gonna ask, "Can I do this?" And they're just gonna say yes. And they're gonna play it. I can do it quickly. So I'm gonna add one more rule. Like Dill's gonna add something, and that way they can both own it. I mean, that's truly the most fun game in the world, is when you make it up with someone else and you both own it. And those someone else's could be mini or just another thing with agency. Dill stacks the white chips on the other side. Can we stack the chips in two piles? Sure. Communication. Taylor stacks the red chips in two columns of 7 and 8. Let's not put gender. Let's just keep this. It don't matter. People play games. Dill and Keller stack the chips. Keller stacks 3 stacks of white chips between the lances on his side. Dill. Oops. Let's process. Got 31 minutes left. A Dill stacks 3 chips of white. 3 stacks. Stacks 3 stacks. Stacks 3 white chips. Stacks 3 columns of white chips. I don't even put. Keller says easier to hit. Dill pinches. How many dice rolls? I gotta have a game. I got 30 minutes for this game. Keller says. Okay. I'm gonna have them roll. I gotta have. What's the rule? Is like, okay, how many times you roll? Roll pinches of dice. Let's get that out. How many rolls? Each one dice. 2 rolls. Get to roll again if you knock over a stack. I don't play. Or maybe it's just you want to play. Is this the end? Maybe it is. Maybe Keller. Yep. Should play. Play. Play it. Let's play it. Cool. I think that's it. I think that's the end. And that's not a question. Let's play. And they're just going to make the game up. And they'll keep making the game up. Few words. Let's see. Do I want... is that good enough for the end here? Love. Let's make some corrections. And I kind of like where it ends. It's got to be under word count. It's no more than 1,200 words. If it is, so be it. It's still a story. But it still seems flash fiction sized. It's based upon a game called Backgammon. That Backgammon game is still in the background there. Dill stacks. So we can have the verb. So there's some corrections. Let me correct some things. Stacks 3 columns of white chips. Okay, I'm feeling backgammoned. That's not such a bad thing. I'll show my ignorance of how I no idea how to play backgammon anymore. Vague recollections, and the Atari is not helping me. It was a little bit of an adventure today with the paddles, I'll admit. Just hoping when I was crouching over to plug them in, my underwear wasn't showing. If it was, I apologize. Haven't put on a belt yet. Probably won't. It's that time of day. I don't know what that means. I do know we have a story right here. The story was inspired by the Atari 2600 game Backgammon Sights and Sounds, but primarily, of course, by just Backgammon. And I'm going to go ahead and start this story. It was the Sights and Sounds construction. Me attempting to play the game through it, I think, also inspired it. So if I would have had a Backgammon board, I probably wouldn't have had the same sort of story. But I feel the story is complete enough to read aloud and be done. If I were to spend 24 more minutes tooling around with this, I'd probably muck it up, make it bad. I do that at times. I over-edit, I overthink. So let's try avoid not doing that, making this simple. And I think it is simple. I'm going to read it aloud, but with the caveat that I may edit and read it again. We're at 24 minutes, so we're definitely within time of video game flash fiction. Time allotted for this game. This is the Atari 2600 game inspired story. Oh, really? It was just inspired by the game Backgammon, which is not property rights of anybody. This story is called Backgammon. Dill blows dust from the water-warped cardboard box labeled with the sun-bleached pink letters Backgammon. Keller sneezes as Dill says, "You want to play." Keller grabs the box and steps from the ladder, walking out the garage door. What's the rules? Dill climbs down the attic and claps hands. Their instructions? Cardboard box smacks dusty summer hot cement driveway. Keller crouches, lifts his game box lid, wedged to fold, and wedges a folded rectangle board from the box. Quarter-sized plastic, red and white chips slide over two-sided, six-sided dice inside. This is gonna be a run through. I'm editing right now. I think I have time. I want to make these inside the box, and then I want to make this present, past, present tense. I love my present perfect. I love it so much. If I were AI, I'd marry it. Dill grabs a red plastic chip from box. Checker pieces? Checker pieces, question mark. And checker pieces. It would be more of a statement. It would not be a question. So no question marks there. So Dill grabs a red plastic chip from the box, from the game. Yeah, from the. Let's point at that with an article. Checker pieces. Dill mumbles while counting 1, 2, 10, 21, 30. While Keller unfolds the rectangle board, Dill scoops the dice and says 15 white checker pieces and 15 red checker pieces and 2 dice. They would not say six-sided dice. They would just say dice. I just want to date this thing. And if all you know is six-sided dice in your life, that is dice. Not necessarily how it is today, but I want to make this a little bit more void of time. While Keller unfolds the rectangle board, Dill scoops the dice and says, into a square. Let's do the full into a square. Dill scoops the dice and says, 15 white checker pieces and 15 red checker pieces and 2 dice. The unfolded cardboard square reveals two sides of 10. Reveals 2 sides of 10 skinny triangles pointing at each other. It's like 10 lances charging each other, Keller says. Dill shifts through the chips, no instructions. Keller stacks the red chips in one column between the 2 pointing lances. Dill rolls the 2 dice, hitting the white chips sprawled in the box. Keller traces the crease in a line in the game board, separating the lances, pointing into 2 pairs of 10. What's this line down the middle? It's like that bar that separates the jousters. Keller grabs the dice. Let's say Dill grabs the dice. It's all going to be Dill grabs the dice. This is a more flow. Dill grabs the dice and rolls the dice over the board, hitting the red stack falls. That's what's going to inspire. I gotta have the inspiration. The red stack falls. Gills. Keller's. Red stack falls. Won the joust, says Dill. Here. Keller stacks the red chips and slides them on one of the lancing lanes between the pointing lances. Dill stacks the white chips on the other side. Can we stack in 2 piles? Keller stacks the red chips in 2 columns of 7 and 8. Maybe it has to be like 5. Keller shrugs. Dill stacks 3 columns of white chips between the lances on his side. Keller is easier to fall. Okay, Keller nods. Mine's easier to fall, but harder to hit. Let's say 1. You get 1 roll. How many rolls? Maybe 2. I'll go 2. I'll go with each once. Let's go 2. 2 rolls. 2 rolls. 2 dice. 2 dice, 2 rolls. Unless the roll knocks over the stack. You get a roll again. Then you get a roll again. I'm not going to put that in. That is highly unlikely that is going to be that complete of a logical sentence for someone that I'm imagining would be in an attic right now looking for a board game on a hot sunny day. Meaning they wouldn't be that old, and using the transition of until and then is very complex. I don't even do it when I'm being lazy in speech. And I write code for a living, and I use that programmatically as in a program. So no then there. I was thinking about doing it, and I just had to say that out loud to prevent myself from doing it. Okay, so the end is more edited toward the game. I got 16 minutes left. I'm going to turn this time off. No, I'm going to let it go because it's going to be done. I'm going to read this one more time. That was more of the edit. Wow. I think I like this story. And the story that I think I like is called Backgammon. Dill blows dust from the water warp cardboard labeled with the sun-bleached pink letters Backgammon. Keller sneezes as Dill says, "You want to play?" Keller grabs the box and steps from the ladder, walking out of the garage. "What's the rules?" Dill climbs down from the attic and claps hands. "There are instructions?" Cardboard box smacks the dusty summer hot cement driveway. Keller crouches, lifts the game box lid and wedges a folded rectangle board from the box. Quarter-sized plastic, red and white chips slide over 2-sided dice inside the box. Keller grabs a red plastic chip from the box. "Checker pieces?" Dill mumbles while counting 1, 2, 10, 20, 30. While Keller unfolds the rectangle board into a square, Dill scoops the dice and says 15 white checker pieces and 15 red checker pieces and 2 dice. The unfolded cardboard box reveals 2 sides of 10 skinny rectangles pointing at each other. "It's like 10 lances charging at each other," Keller says. Dill shifts through chips. No instructions? Keller stacks the red chips in one column between the pointing lances. Dill rolls the dice, hitting the white chips sprawled in the box. Keller traces the crease in a line in the game board, separating the lances pointing into 2 pairs of 10. "What's this line down the middle?" "It's like that bar that separates the jousters." Dill grabs the dice and rolls the dice over the board, hitting the stack of red chips. Keller's red stack falls. Won the joust, says Dill. Here. Keller stacks the red chips and slides them on one of the lancing lanes between the pointing lances. Dill stacks the white chips on the other side. Can we stack in 2 piles? Keller stacks the red chips in 2 piles of 7 and 8. Maybe it has to be like 5. Keller shrugs. Dill stacks 3 columns of white chips between the lances on his side. Keller nods. Mine's easy to fall, all, but harder to hit. Dill pinches the dice. How many rolls? 2 dice, 2 rolls each. Unless the roll knocks over a stack, get to roll again, Keller says. Let's play. Dill smiles. Cool. That's the story. There are changes, of course, edit, but I actually like that story, as is the process. We commit the story in the words, and I'm going to turn off this game and put it in the stack of stories to be. A story really doesn't exist until someone reads it. Maybe someday someone will read this story. And let's go ahead and turn off this game. And that was Video Game Flash Fiction. The inspiration for today was the Atari 2600 game called Backgammon. Truly, I think just games. Until the next time, until the next place. Right.